Hi, welcome to the first live of the month. This month, the theme is spirituality, and we are going to start with our guest, Luke Simon. He is a writer, a mystic, a breathwork instructor, and more. I will let him present himself to you, and I'm waiting for him to come in. He just arrived, so we are going to start, and then you can ask questions. If you're seeing this later, follow him, and yeah, let's start. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing better. I was a little sick.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to meet
Well, nice to meet you virtually.
you. You're in Brazil.
I couldn't hear.
You're in Brazil, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. I'm here in New York, Hudson Valley. So
Cool.
very green here, very summery.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
I like the vibes.
it's really nice. Yeah. Did you get your
Uh,
book?
yes, I have a lot of things to comment about the book, and after that, also to ask about the Earth School. I think we can start with you presenting yourself to the people.
Cool.
And yeah,
Maybe we can all start by breath in together. And having a deep exhale. Ah,
yeah,
coming into this moment, wherever you are, even if you're watching it again, like the magic of the moment, right? It's always kind of stressful. What's gonna be of it? Um, so I'm Luke, and I'm a healer and a writer. And
I'm
you,
I'm having problems with your audio. It's cutting.
is it cutting? Shoot. All right. Well, let me see if I can at least
If
turn it up.
Yeah, if you put headphones, or
Yeah,
I think
I
it
don't have
can work.
I don't have a good setup, but I'll just try to talk louder.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, it's good to be here, and I'm excited that we got to connect. I love meeting people from around the world using Instagram. I think that's one of the magic things of the World Wide Web, and I'm so glad that we're doing this. I love that
Me too.
you have so many books in your house. That's great.
Yeah, I used to be a nerd kid.
I love that.
Um,
Thank you, Alexis Robertson, for your love.
yeah, and thank you everyone that it's in. Thank you, Elton, my one of my best friends
And
that's here. I think you should present yourself again because of the audio.
oh,
Yeah.
that's my only presentation of myself. I mean, I'm a healer and a writer, and I live in upstate New York. And I offer healing classes, and I write, and I write about my life. And just like everyone else, I'm trying to figure it out and deal with my own ego and my own moments of expansion and my own moments of contraction, and just finding the space in between, and have gotten really into ecology and earth, and what we value. Do we value what's bought and money, or do we value what is free and what is the earth? And now that things are really going downhill quickly with our ecosystems, I'm trying to find my footing on where I stand with that, and how do we all feel about it? And I'm just doing my own work to try to understand that. So that's kind of the focus of what I've been thinking about lately, with what I'm really chewing on, more global nature healing as much as still personal healing and understanding who we are as people.
Yeah, yeah, I resonate with that. And I feel like when we heal ourselves, it reflects around us and yeah, and everything. The work you do is great. You're a healer, you're an artist, a writer. I loved your book. I love the way you wrote. It's very funny, interesting. You have a sense of humor. And in spirituality, sometimes people get too serious and don't laugh about themselves. And I love the way you write about it.
Thank you. It's definitely a little bit of deconditioning to get through that. We think that it has to be so serious, and I think that I used to feel really, and I write about that in the book, like how I felt conflicted about, is it okay for me to express myself in this way, and am I still gonna be taken seriously or listened to if I don't do it a certain way? And it was really cathartic to realize that we all are little fingerprints, and we all are
Yeah,
an individual small little bubble of a huge thing. And so, for me, spirituality is really this study of the deeper why underneath the thinking mind. And as
yeah,
far as the thinking mind goes, then we have so many things that just cannot be explained. And some of these really deep spiritual um, problems that we have, like existential pain and suffering that we have. For me, a lot of those questions really boiled down to spiritual questions. And so that truth of when you start to understand, like, this is me and I'm going to express myself how I want. I mean, I'm going to express myself how I want. I think that was important for me because I growing up gay, I felt so like shamed a little bit, like, to like the,
yeah.
like, and like I like girl things, like I want the girl toy. Like I liked Madonna, like I loved like Madonna when I was a little boy, and like it was just, I think there was like a lot of reclaiming that I had to do in my personal work. And then how does that make me not want to have to fit into any box, and almost a rebelliousness to decondition us from what we think is normal or how we think we should present ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful and important to break break out and get out of the box
Yeah.
that society put us and our mind too, because I feel like I grew up with a lot of mind work, and I even forgot that I didn't knew that I had a spirit. I didn't believe in God, and it was like only mind. And after I had the first awakening, then I realized that I have a spirit, and then I remembered that I had a body. Because when we had that insight, that epiphany, we get so much ungrounded. And yeah, it's kind of a process and a combination. um
And I think that even the fact that we're talking about it now in the world, and so many people are talking about it, has changed in 10 years. Like,
yeah,
really want to understand their spirit. They really want to have that type of awakening. Um, and yeah, like, thanks for saying that, like, Alexis, that I don't just have a mind, I have a spirit too. Like, people talking about this,
yeah,
um, it opens a window, and I think that there is that difficult time in your spiritual path where you're like still stuck in this like in habitual stuff. And I think that as you continue, and as you continue to show up and to want it, it it does eventually, like, the grace comes through and something opens you up, something changes your experience. And it's so cool when you start to kind of, I don't know, just I don't ever want to define anyone's any one experience as being right or correct.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that we even are having a conversation about spirituality um, on such a big level is truly like opening up a lot of possibility.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and thank you too, because I enjoy talking about this. The expansive talks is about getting insights to people that are watching, and maybe a word can change the way the person thinks and have an epiphany and everything. And I won't give a spoiler about your book, but in the last chapter, you kind of have an epiphany moment, and that's very interesting, and I like the way you wrapped up everything.
Yeah, thank you. No, and it was so magical to write a book and doing art. It is such a collaboration with spirit, and art is so creativity is so spiritual. And I think when we
Yeah,
struggle in our expression, sometimes it's because we're not truly allowing who we are, right?
yeah.
We maybe are like, we want to be something different, or we wish we were this, or we wish we were that, or we're comparing ourselves, and it's all ego stuff. And it takes away from that, like, what truly is like the magic that is you and that you want to and so that process of like the last chapter and the process of writing the book itself, I didn't even know what the end was going to be. And there were times in the book where it was like the book was writing me, like who's even in control here, like, and like I would be having these life experiences that would mirror and reverberate and echo the emotions that I was feeling, because it's a memoir that takes place 4 years ago. But as it was
Mm-hmm.
this spring, I would be having these same experiences come up. Like I would have the same relationship problem, or I would have the same career problem come up, or I would have the same like expansive feeling of being like, oh my God, I want to be connected to nature so much more. Um, so the last chapter was definitely one of the funny things to be like, what is the story within the story? And there's the surface layer of the story, and then through my writing process I was really trying to dig in to understand, like, what does that mean, and what did it mean, how did it really feel to have that experience.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, well, it's about the. I don't know where to start to comment, because creating arts is like channeling, and it's like a glimpse of the moment too, and remembering. You wrote about memories. Did you wrote it by heart, or did you access some journaling that you had?
I looked back at journals. I looked back and I kind of, you know, I had my memories in my head, and I definitely worked from those. And then I used other things to evoke the mood. And even some of the places I returned to, and I wanted to research more, like, what does it feel like to be on the highway going to the beach in LA, like late at night by yourself? Like, what does that feel like? And like, what are the sensations, and what does it smell like, and what does it feel like? It's like cold air conditioning and like silent, and maybe there's radio, and there's like a lot of like lights and brake lights. And so it's interesting to find a process that you can bring your readers back in the moment through the sensual details. And so I did that through notes, but also through reliving it, researching, going back places.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very interesting, the way you describe, because it has the sensations, the taste, the hearing too. You have a playlist that it's associated with the book. I don't read books with music because I am very sensible to music, and I got a little bit overwhelmed. But I do like the playlist, and I feel like the healing is like a cycle. So we see again, the life presents again the situation, so we can heal that, and or do another choice or make another choice. And I feel like you writing that, it was like healing those memories, because it feels like it's someone that you are not at the same vibe as the person, but it's the essence is the same, but it's another chapter of your life
Yeah,
that you were kind of showing to us.
yeah, thanks for picking
uh,
that. I think that there definitely was like a characterization of every
yeah,
character in the book. And in some way, it's like every character is you. Like in your dreams, every character represents you. Even if it's
yeah,
out of your mom, it's like it's a part of you in your own.
I agree that that interpretation about dreams.
Mhm. So you're kind of working with, your imagination in that way and exploring it. And I think the characters is definitely a little more naive than I am. Like, and is a little more like basic. Like it's just the character of myself. It's more of my ego. It's more of a personification of my ego. And so I wanted it to have that kind of vulnerability and like weakness, and to not have to. I feel like so often we have to defend ourselves and be really like, I'm good, I'm this, I'm all these things. And so
Yeah,
with
it's like you people can fall in the hero's journey, for example, and your character were like a friend and were like a mirror to us, or to person that is reading. It has a kind of naive too, but in a good sense, because it's more like the full card in the tarot.
yes,
Fool's journey. And it's interesting because you got out from Brooklyn and then went to LA and then come back full
and that's,
circle.
I mean, only my friends know that what really happens full circle, because I don't say that in the book, but I came full circle. And I think that that's kind of one of the jokes of it, is that we think that happiness is somewhere else. And at least I did. And I think that our longing and our desires often take us away from what is right here, right now. And so with that, we'll just take another breath and let it go. Because it's so easy. We're trained to want things that are far away, or to want something that's different. And I mean, we have to make the world a better place, and we have to change the things um, that need. But also, how can we really appreciate, you know, where we are? Elton,
Yeah, I agree. I was reading his question, but I was um, hearing you.
what does he
What
say
What do you mean, Elton? Is about the experience on LA, or
in the book?
yeah,
Maybe.
specify.
So
You
Elton,
can.
look at my when we're done, go to the links in my bio, and you can read 2 of the chapters. Perfect.
Yeah, I recommend.
Just read it. And I don't want to take the time to read it on right now on the live, because they exist out there. They exist out there. You can just read it online, or there are some recordings too of me reading on
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of intimate experiences in your book. Yeah, you share a lot of sides. It's yeah. You are going to like it.
um I I wanted all sides to be in there, because I think in some spiritual books are like self-help, like how to attract love. Like this is a book about how to do this thing, and it it doesn't maybe have the side of how difficult it can be to get through your blocks, or just when you experience different blocks in your spiritual path. And so I wanted to give kind of the other side, where it's like, this is me and my experience of having tried all this stuff and what it was like. And so that you kind of see spirituality and love and work and all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Elton, it's like love, sex, romance, dating, working at a like not being able to find a job, trying to be a healer, working at a juice shop, a really fancy juice shop in LA, and then like trying to be an artist and trying to be a musician and just trying to figure out like who and what I am or what anyone is, and then having a fight with my friends, and then um, just realizing I want to be more connected to nature. I mean, there's a lot in there.
There is. There is. Thank you, Alexis, for your presence. Um, yeah. So I think you should talk more about Maha Rose, how you got there, and about the work you do there, and then we can talk about the book. I have some questions too, but yeah.
So the Maha Rose, we it was founded in Brooklyn, and then but it's a healing center for energy healing, meditation, and many different workshops and sessions happened there. And then we had to close during it was when I left at a certain point just because I wanted to explore my creativity and I was unsure if I even wanted to be a healer. And so it's somewhere that I've kind of gone in and out of being a part of, but I was there from the beginning and they lovingly let me come back whenever I want. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to do my best to continue to support everyone there. So now we have a upstate retreat center that we are working on, coming into a new chapter of Maha Rose being upstate because we don't have the Brooklyn space anymore. So that's what's happening upstate here in, Hudson Valley, 2 hours north of the city. We're in nature, we're in the Catskill Mountains, we're near the Hudson River. It's super
Cool.
beautiful, rich land, a lot of farming, agriculture, and ecological living and sustainability, people growing their own food, and it's so inspiring and beautiful. And it has a long history. So I'm really trying to learn nature now, how to live in nature, and it's hard.
Yeah, and you grew up in Brooklyn, so yeah, it's a different environment when you go to permaculture or some healing centers like that. And I believe that that's the future, and that's already happening. I see that a lot in the United States and also in Brazil. We have a lot of centers like this here, and they are growing more.
Beautiful.
Uh, yeah, it's beautiful. I know we have some problems, some political problems here. We have problems about the land,
Mm,
about the Amazon native people uh, doesn't have their own land and everything.
mm,
But there are, um, I believe that when we have an extreme force, there are another extreme force.
mm,
So the balance, it eventually will balance it out.
mm.
So the people that are doing this work in America in general, as a continent, are doing a beautiful work. And yeah.
Glad that it's happening all over and, be exciting. I mean, boy, we got so much to do. Once you start talking about what needs to be done, it's like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, but it's like the healing's like a lot of tools to get where you want, or to just be present. You work with breath work, and I think it's amazing breath work. You know, people are dying because they can't breathe. I was talking to my friend that she's a sound healer, and I was talking about what if in hospitals they had a room for breath work when people get there, and then before everything, if people are with COVID or not, getting the breath work first and just breathe. People are forgetting how to breathe, how to live, how to be present.
And the breath itself moves a lot of energy, like acupuncture. That
Yeah,
acupuncture, you use needles and you channel the energy, but breath itself has life force in it. So
yeah,
um, blocked breathing or light breathing, shallow breathing, like if you have anxiety and your breath is really like tight,
I used to have shallow breathing.
like you have to you have to learn the breath.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting low battery, so we got we'll wrap it up in the next few minutes.
Okay. The world needs this new level of consciousness regarding relationship with nature. Yeah,
mm,
totally. In the book, he have some reflections about it. um, yeah. What else? Well, I have some. I don't know. The phone will die when the battery. It
maybe
will be like,
it's just giving me.
oh.
I think I'm at maybe 20%, so I think we should be good. But it may give me another signal and tell you.
All right. Let the universe decide.
Yeah, always.
Okay. Yeah. I already asked about the process of writing. About your artistic side, you play. How are you dealing with that? Um,
With playing.
Play guitar or expressing
Yeah.
yourself?
Um, I've always loved music, and I've loved so many different types of creativity, and it was hard to find the right form. And I write in the book about how music, I think, was maybe too attached to my ego, and
I think we have the problem with the connection. Um, I don't know if the phone ran out of battery. Oh, I'm just getting a request, and he will come after. Yeah, he just left, but I believe he will get the power to on his phone, and then we we start over. If you have any questions, feel free to interact. I have a few. Let's see if he come back. Yeah, now I guess it will. Hi.
I'm so sorry about that.
No problem. It's spontaneous. It's life.
Yeah, I don't know, the phone, I've got to get a better setup with it, but this is good. Um, so anyhow, the creativity, basically, I think that there are some things that maybe we're better at than others, and that it's okay to not. I don't know if you can learn any art form or if you need a little bit of talent. And I know some really good musicians, and they're so good. And I know some really good writers, and they're really good. And it's weird. Is it that you learn and that you can study and that you can practice a lot? Maybe it has to do with practice. Like the more you practice an art form and really having that passion and drive will allow you to get good at it. Good. But what is good? And I think with writing, I was like, or I'm sorry, with music, I was too obsessed with like it being good, and uh, it was easier for me to just enjoy writing. I found something about that because I already knew language, like I already knew English, whereas I had to learn like how to play guitar and music, and that was a stumbling block sometimes.
Yeah, I can feel what you are saying because you write very well, and I feel like when we are aligned, what we do it's more like natural to us. And I love music. I tried to play instruments too, and I felt like I am more at listening than playing. I can play just for fun, just like painting too. I paint as a therapeutic way, but I won't be a painter. It's more like expressing, more like a kid doing art and just having fun,
Yeah,
because people that are musicians, uh, they live for that. It's their thing. they
yeah,
they do it all the time, and it's different. It's a different vibe.
yeah.
And yeah.
It's magical. People who are really deep in the music and like the way they hear things, the way they listen, like mm,
Yeah,
good
I
musicians,
like.
good friends to have, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And art in general, it's like we are an instrument of the source. And yeah, and if we um have more practice, we can play more while it happens.
I
I don't
love
know if
that.
I can.
Yeah, I think absolutely that's such a beautiful way to think about it. And again, goes back to the spirituality and the combination of
Yeah,
spirituality and art that's so cool to me. Like
yeah,
that you're letting something come through you. And how can you purify yourself so that something can come through and it's not just you trying and being
yeah.
frustrated, you know?
Breathwork, yoga, healthy food, healthy water, that helps.
Big time. Yeah, I love that you're tuned into that. It's so great. And
Yeah,
sharing about it. Yeah.
yeah, and I really feel great to connect with people uh, that understand too and
Yeah.
everything.
And how's the food in Brazil? Do you get good vegetables and good, I'm sure you have good fruit?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good place to be a vegan. And we have acai and plant-based, organic, everything.
Yum.
Yeah, we have a lot of options. People say that it's expensive. It can be expensive in some places, but I have a philosophy where some people they pay. How can I say that? They pay huge amount of money in the doctors
Mm.
monthly.
Yeah,
So if you invest that money in good food, you don't need to go to the doctor, and it's an investment. So I feel
I
like that.
I love that. I definitely agree with that. Preventative and just this idea of, what do we value and what what's worth money to us and why? Like why are people so they're like, "Oh, like I'll buy these gold earrings and they're like really expensive and I want them because they're gold." And then but then you don't want to like spend money on healthy food because you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I don't care about my health. Like I don't care about that."
yeah, it's too expensive and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, and it's an investment to eat healthy and everything. And and about this, what about plant medicine? What do you have to say about it? Ayahuasca is from Brazil.
So cool. Yeah, I haven't done it. Someday maybe someday. Um but it's amazing that we have indigenous cultures and that their religion still exists. And I think that a lot of people are hungry for traditions that have wisdom because we're so lost in our modern world. We're
Yeah.
so lost in technology and we're so lost in
And
capitalism.
disconnected.
Hmm. So I think that it's amazing that these ancient religions, like plant medicine, ayahuasca, things from the jungles and nature-based religions. I really love witchcraft. I think it's so
Yeah.
beautiful and poetic and um, guides. It has a guiding philosophy for, you know, um, this part of the world, this up. What do you call it? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm feeling my sickness and my lack of words. This hemisphere, the northern
The
hemisphere,
North.
because it has like the fall and the summer and sort of like that cycle of the year and the seasons. And um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think that I'm really
The
sensitive.
shamanic and everything.
Yeah.
Uh, I like a lot to study about it, and it's one of my beliefs too. I don't have a religion, but I am tuning into spirituality. I'm also writing a book that it's about that, but I won't say anything about this in this live.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it's a
Ha
fiction.
have you done ayahuasca?
Yes.
Wow.
Uh, and here in Brazil, we have different approaches with that. There are places where you use more in the jungle, more like with the natives. But well, I live in São Paulo. It's a big city. We have some places here too, where we can have the plant medicine from the native people. There are other people, other places where they use the plant medicine more connected to other religions, even Catholic. Brazil is a very Catholic country, so it's interesting because there is a mixture of this of the approach.
That's so
Uh,
cool.
yeah,
So it's
and
so
uh,
fascinating.
and people suffer a lot in the ayahuasca because it's a cleansing of the body. So if you drink Coke or eat McDonald's and everything, you will drink ayahuasca, you will suffer a lot because it's incompatible, the vibration with
Wow.
what you have in your body. So people, myself, for example, I didn't throw up. And most of the places when you uh, do the plant medicine, they recommend you to have a plant eating. Don't eat meat. Don't use drugs and everything. Don't drink alcohol. Even sex, you don't have before, because you can get the energy of the other person, and then you can, you know, feel in the process some type of energy of the other person.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you do it right and do the cleansing before, it will be less stressful.
Wow. My friend did was talking about like the frog medicine.
Oh, cambo. I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but in Portuguese it's cambo.
Okay, yeah. Um, I think he pronounced it combo. That's classic American way to pronounce stuff. No accent. Um, but I would try that. I mean, I don't know. It's being uncomfortable, the discomfort that the plant medicines have, like that turns me off. Like I don't want to like puke and shit uncontrollably to cleanse myself.
Well, I don't know if you drink a lot of juice.
I
You know.
used to. I used to. Yeah,
And you
but
do yoga and everything.
I
Are
I
you
mean it,
vegetarian or not?
I'm not. I eat I try to eat from, you know, local, if I eat meat, try to eat like local meat. I think that if
Yeah,
it's done in a ecological way, that meat can actually not over overexert the land. I think
I
what's
agree.
problematic is when they have to chop down like the Amazon, all the forests, and so that the beef can graze, and they're making these like new places for cows. But I think
I
that,
agree with that. That exploitation, it's more problematic.
yeah, but I think that there's ways that we could use land that's already available, and that cows actually, the poop is really good for the plants and the soil. So actually
And
rich,
to find the mushroom.
totally, which brings us to our next plant medicine topic. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I think that it's a complex world we live in, and it's hard to have any one philosophy. And I like when people can share different beliefs and have different, ideas, and like, oh my God. But I have a lot of vegan friends and vegetarian friends, and I eat a lot of vegetables for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the things that we eat, it's more like what fits better to our body and to our what we like. I feel like our body kind of say to us which thing we have to eat. Yeah, I'm very open about this, and there is a question about astral projection. What do you think about it?
Wow. I mean, I wanna, it sounds awesome. Um, I haven't, I don't know if I've done it. I've definitely had intuitive experiences, um, and sort of like visions in breath work. But my thing is kind of like, how can we earth project? Like, how can we find the beauty of where we are? And how can we really not try to escape, but how can we really see and face what is here? Because it's hard to face hard things, hard emotions. And I think that escapism, and that's how I feel sometimes about drugs too, is that we can just be trying to go somewhere else because we don't like where we are. And I think that it's important to find how can we ground and how can we be here. And sometimes trauma is one of the things that gives you anxiety and makes it really hard to be here because you're so like uncomfortable that you just want to go somewhere else, and you just want to like do drugs or drink or like astral project or like just go anywhere. um and even fantasization, and that's one way that sometimes you can become a coping mechanism for being uncomfortable with something, a memory that lives in you.
I totally agree with you. I had a lot of that tendencies when I was younger. And what I was going to say about ayahuasca too, and also I feel like the earth needs us to be more grounded, everyone, because everyone is on their mind or like doesn't wanting to be here, and so it's necessary to ground ourselves. And I also remembered about visions. I know you didn't had ayahuasca yet, but it's very interesting because those visions can sometimes trick us. Uh, because I will give you a brief example. I took ayahuasca, and when I took it, I was kind of infatuated by a guy who lives in Portland, by the way. And in ayahuasca, I had a vision that I was with him. And I was like, oh, my Venus is in Pisces. So I was more like fantasizing everything. And I kind of thought, wow, I'm supposed to be with him. And so it wasn't. It was like something, a memory or something. I wasn't like, the way I kind of realized about that and thought before, because after that, it was more like I I wanted to kind of get married, but I wasn't like aware of that. So I
Mm,
kind of projected to an image of someone that I was liking at the moment.
yeah.
So it's important to analyze those visions. Like I always like to do therapy more in a psychological way. I think
Yeah.
spirituality and psychology should
Yes.
work together.
Totally.
Yeah, because that's it. I felt like saying that. I
Yeah, I love
oversharing.
that.
Sorry.
Thank you for sharing. No, and I would just say like the deeper want. Like if we're infatuated with someone, it's like, what do we really want? And what's the deeper thing that we're maybe projecting on another? That's one of the things I've learned, with
Yeah,
relationships.
and I feel like when we are with that infatuation by someone, it's an aspect of that person that you have inside yourself, but you have to activate. So you are afraid to activate that,
Mm.
and you kind of project on the person.
It's so, yeah, it's potent. It's so potent. And I think that spirituality is, for me, it's about understanding those deeper whys. Why do we do that? Why do we project? And why do we have these ideas of each other? And how can we navigate in a way that's more, um, hopefully more harmonious and more fun, ultimately, like feel more, connected.
Yeah, yeah, it's a process.
Definitely.
Yeah, but we learn a lot through relationships. So even the painful and the illusions and everything.
Totally.
By the way, what's your Venus sign?
I have Venus in Libra.
Hmm, interesting.
Love.
Sun
I
sign?
love love.
What about sun sign, ascendant, and moon? Just those three. I want to know.
Sun sign Libra, rising sign Pisces, moon sign Capricorn.
Wow.
What is yours? Sun, moon, rising?
Sun Aquarius, Aries rising, and Scorpio moon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, well, I think I'm gonna have to jump off, but this has been
uh,
wonderful.
yeah, I really enjoy it. And there are more questions too, about the frog experience and the ego suppression. Yeah, I don't know if you feel like saying that or do it
I
maybe
think to be
in a next
continued
life.
next time. I don't know enough about either of those. Uh, I don't know enough about astral projection or my friend's experience to really answer those right now. But I'll let you know when I try both of them.
Yeah, and on 28, we are going to have a live with Dana. She lives in Sedona, and she can talk more about the frog medicine because she already, I believe she already did it. She works with, she's an artist, painter, and she channels. It's very
Cool.
beautiful. Her work is very beautiful.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
Well, thanks for doing these.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. It was
Yeah,
a pleasure, an honor to have you here.
an honor to be here and get to talk to you in person-ish online.
Yeah.
And maybe someday we'll meet. I'll visit you all in Brazil
Yeah, definitely.
or come to
You're
New
welcome
York.
here.
Thank you. All right, I'll see you
Oh,
guys soon.
bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.